Hi, my name is Ray Catola, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing, and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com!
Good early evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of North American Harness Update Extra. I am your host, Ray Catola, broadcasting remotely from his fallout shelter in the middle of the underground of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, joined here by Michael Prebosi and Rod Adams Jr. Now, boys, we're going to be discussing the Pick 5 carryover for tomorrow at the Meadowlands tomorrow, Friday, March 2nd, as a $125,000 guaranteed pool covers races 3 through 7, and it's quite a doozy of a sequence. So starting with the first leg, race number 3, the non-winners of 2 trotting event with a field of 10 lining up here. Mike, for a ticket that you have, that you go otherwise deep in some legs, you're pretty narrow in this first one.
Yeah, and I think that the whole sequence really rests on this first race because a lot of money is going to be tied up, I think, in the 4 President Zet, who has been top 2 the last 3 races, won 3 back, and then, closed to be second the last 2 races against, I think, a little bit better competition than the horse faces here. But there's a lot of question marks in the race. A lot of horses coming off layoffs and, in bad form with breaks and things. It's very difficult to leave this horse off because it's the most consistent. But 4 years old, 8 starts, typically gets behind early. One or 2 to 5 is sort of an issue. I'm going to try the 10 also, Law of Attraction, who is Marone, Harmon, 3rd start back at the 8-hole at Saratoga last time, just pitched that. Has won a race previously last year, and was in numbers at 3 at Yonkers, coming off the layoff. Finished 4th, wasn't a horrible race. Was bet in that race also. Has been bet both times, which is something that intrigues me a little bit. I like the bigger track. I feel like that this horse, if it gets away well, should be involved. So 4 and 10 for me to start.
Rod, how similar are you there?
I'm a little bit deeper. I'm using the 4 and 10, but I'm also going to throw on the 5 and the 9. The 4, I agree with Mike. First over last time, raced well. He's been in good form, so I think you have to use, but not one that I would be comfortable keying off of. I'm going to throw the 5 on there, Master of the Hill, Terry Morgan. This horse has some braking issues, but if you look down, this horse was racing in kind of the B-level stakes races as a 3-year-old, traveling all over, and I think this horse has talent. He's just got to stay flat, and if he does, I think he could upset at a really big price here. I'll go down to the 9, Break Free. Brett Miller stays on this one. It was his choice there, and I do think this horse, if he's close enough, outside post obviously is a little bit of a concern, but he's going to take some money, and by the looks of it, it might be a sloppy track tomorrow night. This horse does okay in the slop, so I'll throw this one on. Providing he gets a good trip, he should be okay. And then the 10, broke last time, still raced really well. Similar spot tomorrow, and just needs to get a trip. So 4, 5, 9, 10.
I just want to say how ironic it is that the 9 Break Free, in fact, lost stride 2 starts ago, so she is not necessarily break free. President Zet's the obvious one here. We all touched on him, and he's probably going to be the favorite going postward, as he is the 2-1 morning line favorite as well. I only add on one other horse in this opening leg, and that's the 8, I'm Fishing. Makes his first start off a layoff, she makes her first stop shooting off a layoff, shipping in from Hoosier Park, where she showed some speed when she had an outside post 2 starts back against Nauer's a 1-1 there as the favorite. Shipping in here, comes off a decent qualifier. Seems to me if she's ready to go first out, she could end up doing fairly decently at a price, assuming she's up close. So I'm 4-8 in the opening leg of this sequence. Second leg is race number 4. It's a $7,500 claiming event. 10 more going postward here. Now, Mike, for me, this seemed like a bit of a chalky race. I don't know if you saw it any way similar.
I'm 4 deep. It's 75 claimers, so, it's a lot of times they'll take turns beating each other. There's not a ton of form in the race. I'm going to be 4 deep, starting with the 3, dragging in the chips. This is Brett Miller here, coming back from Freehold. Was racing in condition races and doing okay. Did well from inside post, not so well from outside post. Draws well in here. Could trip out. A lot more shares than wins, but I don't want to lose to this one. The 4, Brickman, probably the favorite, drops from 12 claimers. No chance last time in a race where, Six Gun had the pocket and, they kind of, merry-go-rounded up front and he popped and won. This horse gets a little bit of a drop, draws well, should be closer early. It's Harris and Marcus Miller. I would think that this one will be the favorite. The 6, Charmbro Curiosity. I like this one best. Drops from numbers of 3,500. Has raced well the last 2 races. Nearly won 2 back, and then last time had the 9-hole and rallied to 30-1 to be 4th. Hard to leave this one off. 14 lifetime wins, and then the 7, Real Rocker. This horse has been bet. Dropped in last time, was 2-1 against the 75 optional claimers, and really just had no chance from where it was parked almost every step. Energy Shakes ended up, coming from the back to win that one. I feel like this horse could have a better spot early. Was bet last time against these horses. It's made over $250,000. So a chance if driven correct. 3, 4, 6, 7.
Rod, are you in any way similar there?
A little bit. I saw the race playing out a little differently than Mike did. I'm going to start with the 2, Outcry. This horse, 7,500 claimer, that's what he is. Raced well last week. Got stuck behind some dead cover, and it didn't really carry him very far. I thought he raced well from that spot. The track last weekend was just all front, and this horse closed into a pretty quick pace, but the dead cover didn't help his case at all there. The 4, Brickman, was Marcus Miller's choice, I think, anyways. It's Andrew Harris. Marcus jumps on, dropping class here. This one is interesting, but he's going to take a lot of play just on the drop. I do think this horse needs a trip, and if he gets a trip, he should be dangerous. And then the 5, Flying with Royalty, I'm going to use him second start off the shelf after the break. And, he's one that he's okay on the front, but I think he's better if he's covered up for a half. And, last time he got kind of stung pretty hard removing to the front. So I think he needs to find a 2-hole trip here if he's going to leave. I honestly think he's going to be better off if he ducks this horse and follows cover second over. So those are the 3 I'm using, 2, 4, 5.
As for me, I'm 2 deep here. We all touched on Brickman. Brickman's obvious, and the major reason is just that class drop, because otherwise he's been racing against much better than this group, and that is an edge that's important to note, especially when you're in against 75 claimers. The other horse I throw on for a bit of a price, and Mike touched on him a bit, is the 7, Real Rocker. I like the fact he's making his second start after his 6th scratch, and he parked the entire mile first time out at odds of 5-2 in the slop. To me, that showed that the horse might be live coming back and should definitely improve second start off the bench. And this one was also 2 racing against better before scratching. Was in against 10,000 claimers in the past, and mostly comes from off the pace, which could be a disadvantage, but at the same time, he at least will have more form than most of this field does anyway. So 4-7 for me in the second leg. Third leg is race number 5. It's ours at 3,500 in their last 5 starts. 10 more going postward here. And Mike, I have a feeling you're pretty deep here too.
4 deep in here. Starting with the 1, Mr. Lover. This is strictly a driver change. Gets Jingra back. Raced well for him in the past. Draws the rail. Tough to leave off for that one. The 4, Big Bill Breeze. Drops from numbers of 5,000. Has had outside posts the last 4 starts. was racing at upper levels at Yonkers, so this is still a draw, but it's Pat LaChance, and really you never know what kind of drive you're going to get from that one. But you get class relief, you get a good post, and we'll see if this horse is in the mood. The 5, Caulfield, will be the favorite. Hard to leave off. I don't necessarily trust, but was 3-5 last time and kind of got perfect trip by Worth the Money. This horse will be up early again. It's just a matter of can he finish it off. And then the 9, Stars Above All Orage. I feel like this horse might be the sneakiest play in the race. Likes it here. Has raced at upper levels at here in the past. Won 7 times last year. Raced at Monticello last time, and was outside post, was stuck wide, and still ended up finishing okay. And that was being off since December. Now it gets back to the big track. Has a 53.3 mark here, and this horse is sneaky at a price. So I'm 1, 4, 5, 9.
As past experience, Stars Above All Orage race is much better off a rail trip. Now, Rod, what do you got here?
I'm 3 deep. I'm using 2, 5, and 6. The 2, coming from the half-mile tracks, he took a mark here last year. It was actually his lifetime mark, 54 and a piece. I do think the move to the big track, this combo, Annunziata and Billy Mann, have been pretty good. So I'm going to use this horse, especially with the inside draw. Nice price play. The 5, like Mike said, is obvious. Don't trust him. But, the horse definitely deserves to be respected in this bunch. And then the 6, who I think is going to be able to get a really nice trip, following some cover here. If he comes second over, I think he probably wins the race for fun. But, just in case he gets some bad cover or something like that, I use some other horses as well. So 2, 5, 6.
2, 5, or I'm 3 deep here for me. Rod, you touched on the 2 fairly well. I like the fact, too, that this one is moving from the half mile to the bigger track and draws inside as well. Has been racing up against similar competition, so shouldn't really be too over his head considering he's raced decently against similar on the half in the past. Caulfield, less deserving to be respected, more he has a class advantage. It's as simple as that. He's going to get bet for that, and he has the form to potentially win here, but everyone can see that. The third horse I use then is the 8, Brando's Muscle Man, who can launch off the gate if necessary. He did it last out over at Saratoga against optional claimers, much tougher than this group. He ended up riding the pocket there. He faltered in the stretch, but still was put into the mix and should definitely improve on a bigger track. Outside draw, again, is not going to play to his benefit, but he should be up close, assuming he's able to push off the gate as he has been able to over on a half. So I'm 2, 5, 8 for me in the third leg. Fourth leg, we're almost done here. Race number 6, Dollars of 8,500 in their last 5 starts. Mike, the number, what you got?
3 deep. The 1 up front, Billy. This is a class drop for this one, and he likes it here. Won at this level back in January, albeit off a perfect trip. Has just been facing better and running into horses that are, just a little bit faster right now. I like the class relief. I like the post draw. I think that this horse is going to be right there. The 3, Ecstatic Hanover. I raced a couple races at Yonkers. 8-hole last time, no shot. Nommer's a 10,000 2-back, perfect tripped in 1. So this horse is capable. And then he had the 10-hole against Rossini, 3-back, no chance in that race. I like the inside post. I like that Brett Miller's sitting on the horse. And I feel like that anything for Osceola is good. I really like him as a trainer. And then the 8, the OG, who, again, has a little bit of a class edge. This horse is very hit or miss. Could break. Could come from the back, could get the front. You just never really know. So it gets Pantaleano. I would expect a little bit closer try with him in the bike. The horse has the class, and any sort of trip, and he can win it. So 1, 3, 8.
Rod, what is mostly visible on the surface but has even more? No, don't answer that riddle. Just give me the numbers that you have here.
3, 4, 7. The 3, Mike told you everything you need to know about that horse. I like him a lot here. The 4, coming off the layoff, this is a New York Sire Stakes horse racing on the half most of last year. He's got a ton of speed, good qualifier. I think if he's ready, he wins the race. And then the 7, Round Town Rocker. I throw him on. Rick Dane, Eric Carlson. This barn's been hot. 9-hole last time, got away in the back, had no chance, and still raced pretty well. Start before that, I thought he raced okay. Got used a couple times there, and he was just so-so. But I do think he's got a big shot. Not necessarily liking the price, but I'm still going to use him. 3-4-7.
Up front, Billy's pretty obvious. Last time he was in against an hours of $8,500 bunch, he won off a pocket trip at odds of 2-1, and since raced against better, now drops back down, draws the rail, so he's a very obvious one to start off my fourth leg here with. I go with two other horses then, starting then with the 2 Alexander Hanover, who jumps back up off a win against an hours of 5,000. This horse always seems to be a decent price against the $8,500 bunch, considering, too, that he's usually stalking. And it was 2 starts ago that I think that was a snowy night on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up sitting at the inside, then just became victim of whatever happens at the inside. But he's usually a bit sharper in that final quarter, so he's going to be a decent price here, moving back up in class. The win shows he belongs here, and the inside draw should only be able to help him. Final horse then is Diagi. He's the third one I throw onto my ticket, just because that last start he parked them off in post 10 against better. Now he drops back down, 2 starts back here. He won at this level at odds of 2-1, and he did so pretty handily, even though he parked the first half of the mile. So that said, he's usually fairly sharp against this group. He just needs the right trip in order to perform well. 1, 2, 8. One more leg here to go then, the pick 5. That's race number 7. Hours of 11,500 filly and mares on the pace. There's 9 horses lining up here. Mike, for you, there's a big favorite to the outside. You concentrating towards her?
I'll definitely use her just because she's gotten very good. Came up the ladder, was crushing numbers of 3s and 4s. Then last time ended up in the snow race. Really did not look like she had a chance on paper and ended up getting a trip to win. But, that was a fast race, 51-4 on a sloppy, snowy night. That's really hard to overlook. So I'm going to use that one. The 8, Keystone Riptide, raced very well from the 10-hole last time against Cheyenne Robin. Prior to that, won numbers of 5,000. This horse is sharp. The outside doesn't really concern me. I think a must-use again. And then the 5, Phyllis Jean, dropped a little bit last time and just outclassed the bunch. Steps back up, and this horse was racing at upper levels earlier in December. You see a back line there, numbers of 16,000. This horse was competitive. So won 9 times last year. The step up does not concern me at all. Any kind of trip, and she's right there. 5, 8, 9.
Rod, cap off your ticket for me.
I'm too deep here, starting with the 3 OK Heavenly. Had absolutely no chance in the mud last time, and the start before that was a very tough bunch in the snow, and she just was given no chance. She's a horse that she's not necessarily great from the inside. She's better on the outside where she can get away toward the middle or toward the back of the pack and follow cover and just swoop them on the outside. That's her A game, and I think this might be a spot. There's a little bit of speed in here that she gets away in a good spot and can do that. And then the 9, she's obvious. Mike talked about this one. Not much to say about this one, so I'm too deep. 3-9.
Finish him.
I'm also 3-9 in this race. The 9 is obvious because she won last time going against this group. I'm incredibly concerned. She's obvious. The 3 that OK Heavenly is the second one I use because last out got way too far off the pace against hours of 8,500. Still managed to gain ground as the favorite to finish 5th. She races a lot better when she's sitting up close, and she might be able to do that from an inside draw. She's also been up against better, drawing in against 17,000 and hours of 20,000 back in the past. So the question is going to be how far is she sitting off the pace, and hopefully she's sitting a bit closer because that's where she could definitely race her best. 3-9 in that last leg. My ticket then goes as follows. For 50 cents, I'm 4-8 with 4-7. with 258, with 128, with 39. I couldn't read my scribbles for a second. Again, that's 48 with 47, with 258, with 128, with 39. $36.50. Mike, your ticket.
410 with 3467, with 1459, with 138, with 589. It's 144 for 50 cents.
And Rod.
45910 with 245, with 256, with 347, with 39. It's $108.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for another edition of North American Harness Update Extra. Make sure you tune in to North American Harness Update tomorrow night, Friday, at 9 p.m. Eastern, 148.ca/1. Also broadcasting on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Friendster, MySpace, LinkedIn, any kind of platform where you see people, know people, and act like you know people. But until then, make sure you check out NAHUpicks.com. Tonight we have racing analysis from Woodbine Racetrack, and we also have analysis for tomorrow night's card at the Meadowlands, done by us boys. Those boys, really. I just take credit for all their work. But that said, until next time, stick around.
Alicia.